Just 2 weeks left until Election Day. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. It's time for them to make closing arguments. The good news is it will finally be about you. The latest national poll shows Clinton with a lead as high as 12 points in the latest ABC poll. But there's time to turn around. There's a lot of questions about turnout. So let's get into the case for you from each. Democratic Congressman Steve Israel joins us. He's a Clinton supporter. And Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn. She's endorsed Trump. Let's start with quick 30 seconds. The closing argument for Trump, what you think the case is. We'll start with you, Congressman Blackburn, to the American people. Give me a quick take on, here's his case.
His case is, let's make certain we have constitutional jurists on the Supreme Court and the federal bench. Let's make certain that we repeal and replace Obamacare, that we protect our nation's economy and get it humming again. Wage stagnation, low economic growth is something that is stifling every single corner of this country. And let's bring economic prosperity all across this country into our rural areas and into underserved areas.
Congressman Israel, what is Hillary Clinton's case?
Two things. Number one, you've seen Donald Trump as a candidate. Is this the man you want to be your president? And secondly, let's end the gridlock in Washington. Let's elect a president, a House, and a Senate that will pass a bill to finance infrastructure, that will end secret money in politics, that will pass comprehensive immigration reform and unite the country.
What is the specific case to be made to these following two poll categories, Congressman Blackburn? Let's put up the numbers with white men, whites in general, and women. So we have women here first, 20 points. Trump had been trying to break into that, hasn't. If anything, it's gone up a little bit. What's the case for women?
National security and economic security are the top two issues with women. They're the top two issues in the poll this year. And I think that's where Trump needs to put his emphasis. How do you make this country safe again? How do you get a handle on what is happening with ISIS? Making certain that we are funding our military. I have a large military post in my district, and they are very concerned about the lack of accountability from Hillary Clinton on the emails. If their spouse mishandled one classified email on one mobile device, they'd face court-martial. So they're really unhappy with that.
Congressman Israel, how do you respond to that, and why do you believe Hillary Clinton is ahead with women?
Chris, first of all, I just returned from Asia visiting our brave men and women throughout Asia. I'll tell you, you don't support the military by calling the military a disaster, which Donald Trump did. You don't have a plan to defeat ISIS by saying that you're smarter than the generals. I agree with Marsha, and I respect Marsha, that national security is an important issue across the board, not just with women, but across the board, which means you need a president who is ready to lead and has the experience to do so. Donald Trump's not the person.
The white vote, let's put up the numbers on that. Mitt Romney had a much bigger portion of this population than Donald Trump does right now. Congressman Blackburn, what do you think this group is feeling differently right now, and what would you like to say to change their minds?
I think so many people are just undecided. We have two deeply flawed individuals at the top of each ticket, and they're waiting to see some of the proposals that are going to come forward on economic security, on how we're going to handle securing the southern border, and make certain that we end illegal entry, whether it is human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking. They also want to make certain that the opioid issue is dealt with.
Congressman, this is part of Hillary Clinton's reaching out to this, this mythical group in polling called the college-educated white voter. What is that outreach, in your opinion?
Well, look, she is reaching out not just to college-educated white voters, but voters who don't have a college education. I don't think that you have one issue that is defined for one segment of voters. There are an abundance of issues. Here are the priorities that I think voters have. Number one, jobs and paychecks. Let's build infrastructure, put people back to work. Number two, national security. Hillary Clinton has a plan, Donald Trump does not. Number three, comprehensive immigration reform. It's time to protect our borders, but also create a path for people who are contributing to our economy. And finally, and once and for all, end that secret money in politics, which is driving people crazy. They believe that they're priced out of democracy. One party in Washington is willing to pass the Disclose Act to require transparency. That's the Democrats. The other party, Marsha Blackburn's party, has stopped that bill from passing. They continue to allow dark money into politics.
All right, let's quickly deal with the negatives for both. with each of you now. I'll start with you, Congressman Israel. Your candidate, the negative would be, she's not the person to deal with money in the process. She loves money in the process. She gets more money than anybody else. And to the extent that these issues require trust of a candidate, her numbers speak for themselves, whether it's the email scandal or other things that have been attached to her, she cannot be trusted. Your case.
Look, she's the only candidate of the two who supports the Disclose Act, who wants to end secret and dark money in politics, who has a plan to do so. Donald Trump does not. I think this election really comes down to who is fit to lead, who is fit to be president. Donald Trump, across every issue and on almost every day, has established he's not ready to lead. He is temperamentally unfit. People make their decisions on president based on that. There's no surprise that Hillary Clinton is doing so well in the polls.
And obviously the criticism for you is something that we see play out almost every day, that Donald Trump has said the worst things about so many different groups of people than we've seen in the modern electoral area. I didn't have to look at your record because I've known you for years, but you've never said any of the kinds of things that Donald Trump says.
Nor would I.
Why would people? And yet, you're backing him for president. So how do you explain to people that negative, that even though you would never say the things that this man says, you think he should be president?
Because you're looking at the future of our country. Hillary Clinton has called basket of deplorables. So many Americans she has put into that basket of deplorables. She and Barack Obama have made a mess of what is going on in the Middle East. The Iran deal is not serving us well. You can look at the red line in Syria, which wasn't a red line, the mess that is there, what happened in Benghazi, in Libya, and the fact that she lied to those families and has not gone back to rectify that situation. The Clinton Foundation, using that as a way to pull money from countries. Look at what has just come out about Morocco and what the situation that was there with contributions to the Clinton Foundation. People know that they cannot trust Hillary Clinton to come forward and to be truthful about what is going on. What they have seen from Donald Trump, and his speech this weekend spoke to it beautifully. A plan for how to move forward, the things he's going to do in the first 100 days to put that focus on economic security, national security, to work for child care and allow some tax credits that are there. People are ready to see this country turn a corner. They want to get us back on a path to prosperity. And at this point, Chris, we're not there. And when it comes to dark money, there's an article in the Wall Street Journal today. More billionaires gave to Hillary Clinton and have put millions of dollars into her campaign.
So for your side, it's going to come down to the message versus the messenger. And for the Democrats...
You won't change, you're for Trump. If you want the status quo, you're for Clinton.
We'll see.
Yes.
Congressman Blackburn, thank you very much. Congressman Israel, appreciate you both making the case. Compelling as always.
Good to see you, Steve.
You bet.
Allison.
Okay, Chris, over to Iraq. Iraqi-led forces closed